The Mahabharata is not just a story, it is a mirror to human nature. Written by sage Vyasa thousands of years ago, it is one of the longest and most profound works in world literature. With over 100,000 verses, it weaves together history, mythology, philosophy, and moral dilemmas in a way that has captivated audiences for centuries. It tells of kingdoms and dynasties, of great warriors and cunning politicians, of divine intervention and human weakness. At its core, it is the story of two sets of royal cousins, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, whose rivalry leads to the cataclysmic war of Kurukshetra. But the Mahabharata is more than war. It is love and betrayal, loyalty and treachery, duty and desire, destiny and free will, all clashing together on the stage of life. Every character is deeply human, even when touched by divinity. Every choice comes with a price. And the central question it asks still echoes today, when faced with a conflict between personal loyalty, moral duty, and survival. What would you choose? Chapter 1. The Origins of the Bharata Dynasty. The roots of the Mahabharata stretch far back to the Bharata dynasty of Hastinapura, a powerful kingdom on the banks of the Ganga. The story begins with King Shantanu, who encounters the river goddess Ganga. Struck by her beauty, he proposes marriage. Ganga agrees, but on one condition: he must never question her actions. Shantanu accepts, and they marry. Ganga bears him 7 sons, but to Shantanu's horror, she drowns each newborn in the river. True to his promise, he remains silent until the 8th child is born. This time, he protests, breaking the vow. Ganga reveals the truth. These were celestial beings cursed to live as mortals, and drowning them freed them from their curse. The 8th child, she says, must live out his fate on earth. She departs with the infant, returning him to Shantanu years later as a boy named Devavrata, a prodigy in wisdom, warfare, and virtue. Chapter 2. The terrible oath of Bhishma. Years later, Shantanu falls in love with Satyavati, the daughter of a fisherman. Her father agrees to the marriage only if her children will inherit the throne. To secure his father's happiness, Devavrata takes a vow. He will never claim the throne, and he will remain celibate for life. This terrible oath earns him the name Bhishma. Shantanu marries Satyavati, and they have 2 sons, Chitrangada and Vishitravirya. Chitrangada dies young in battle. Vishitravirya marries princesses Ambika and Ambalika, but dies childless. Chapter 3. The birth of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura, with no heir. Satyavati turns to her son from before her marriage, Vyasa, a sage of immense spiritual power. Through the practice of niyoga, he fathers children with the widowed queens. From Ambika comes Dhritarashtra, born blind. From Ambalika comes Pandu, pale-skinned. From a maidservant comes Vidura, wise and virtuous, but of lower caste. Chapter 4. The next generation, Pandavas and Kauravas. Dhritarashtra marries Gandhari, who blinds herself with a cloth for life, sharing her husband's darkness. Pandu marries Kunti and Madri. While hunting, Pandu kills a sage disguised as a deer and is cursed. If he approaches his wives intimately, he will die. In despair, he retires to the forest. Kunti, however, knows a divine mantra that can summon gods to grant her children. She calls upon Yama gives Yudhishthira, embodiment of truth and justice. Vayu gives Bhima, blessed with immense strength. Indra gives Arjuna, destined to be an unmatched archer. Kunti teaches the mantra to Madri, who calls the Ashwini twins, gives Nakula and Sahadeva. Meanwhile, Gandhari undergoes a long pregnancy, finally giving birth to a lump of flesh. Vyasa divides it into 101 pieces, placing them in jars. These become her 100 sons, the Kauravas, led by Duryodhana, and 1 daughter, Dushala. Chapter 5. Childhood Rivalries. The Pandavas and Kauravas grow up together in Hastinapura, trained in warfare and statcraft by Kripacharya and the master teacher Drona. From the start, Duryodhana envies the Pandavas' strength and popularity. During a public display of arms, Arjuna dazzles the crowd, but a stranger challenges him, Karna, a warrior of equal skill. Karna is humiliated for his low birth until Duryodhana crowns him king of Anga, sealing their lifelong friendship. The rivalry deepens as Duryodhana tries to kill Bhima by poisoning him and trapping him underwater. Bhima survives, saved by the Serpent King Vasuki. Chapter 6. The House of Wax, fearing the Pandavas' growing power. Duryodhana conspires with his uncle Shakuni to kill them. They invite the Pandavas to a palace made of lacquer, highly flammable, intending to burn them alive. Warned in advance, the Pandavas dig a tunnel and escape, believed dead by the kingdom. They live in disguise, wandering the forests. Chapter 7. Draupadi and the Rise of the Pandavas. They arrive at the Swayamvara, marriage contest, of Draupadi, Princess of Panchala. Arjuna wins her hand by shooting an arrow through a rotating wheel to hit a target. When the brothers return home, Kanti unknowingly tells them to share whatever they have brought. Bound by her word, Draupadi becomes wife to all 5 Pandavas. The Pandavas are restored to power, given the land of Kandavaprasha, which they transform into the grand city of Indraprastha. Yudhishthira performs the Rajasuya Yagna, asserting imperial status, humiliating Duryodhana. Chapter 8. The Game of Dice. Duryodhana invites Yudhishthira to a game of dice, rigged by Shakuni. Yudhishthira loses his wealth, kingdom, brothers, himself, and finally Draupadi. In the infamous dice hall, Draupadi is dragged and humiliated, but Krishna intervenes, saving her honor. Enraged, she vows revenge. A compromise sends the Pandavas into 13 years of exile to 12 in the forest, one incognito. Chapter 9. Exile and Adventures. In the forest, the Pandavas meet sages, learn moral lessons, and prepare for the future. Arjuna acquires celestial weapons from Indra and Shiva. Bhima kills demons. Nakula and Sahadeva master horse-keeping and cattle tending. Draupadi endures abduction attempts but is rescued. Chapter 10. The final year in disguise, the Pandavas serve in the court of King Bharata in disguise. As a cook, stable master, music teacher, herdsman, and maid. Arjuna reveals himself during a cattle raid, defending the kingdom and ending their exile. Chapter 11. Failed peace talks. Krishna attempts to mediate, offering the Kauravas a settlement of even 5 villages. Duryodhana refuses, declaring he will not give land equal to the tip of a needle. War is inevitable. Chapter 12. The Kurukshetra War, day by day. The war lasts 18 days, day 1 to 10. Bhishma leads the Kauravas. Arjuna hesitates to fight, leading to the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's timeless counsel on duty and detachment. Bhishma is felled using Shikhandi as cover. Day 11 to 15. Drona becomes commander. Abhimanyu, Arjuna's son, dies trapped in the Chakravyuha. The Pandavas retaliate by killing Drona through a ruse involving his son's death. Day 16 to 17. Karna leads, nearly defeating Arjuna, but is killed when his chariot wheel gets stuck. And Krishna signals the fatal shot. Day 18. Shalya commands befalls. Bhima defeats Duryodhana in mace combat, breaking his thigh. That night, Ashwatthama slaughters the Pandava camp, killing Draupadi's sons. Chapter 13. Aftermath. Duryodhana dies. The Kaurava line is extinguished. Yudhishthira becomes king but is consumed by guilt over the bloodshed. Ashwatthama is cursed to wander the earth in suffering. Chapter 14. The final journey after years of rule, the Pandavas renounce the throne to Parikshit, Arjuna's grandson. They journey to the Himalayas seeking heaven. One by one, they fall, each death symbolic of a flaw. Yudhishthira alone reaches heaven, where he learns the deeper truth of Dharma. Chapter 15. The Lessons of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata shows that Dharma is not absolute but situational. Heroes can err, villains can act with virtue. Fate and Free will weave an intricate dance, and the cost of ambition, loyalty, and revenge is always high. The Mahabharata is not just an ancient tale. It's a reflection of us. Every choice in it feels familiar, every moral dilemma timeless. So, I'll leave you with this question. If you stood on the field of Kurukshetra, with your own loyalties, beliefs, and ambitions pulling you in different directions. Whose side would you take? And why?